Today on Taoflater Mouse, we put the cheapest rifle scope available on Amazon, costing only $17.99, on a 12-gauge shotgun. Will this scope survive the massive recoil of a 12-gauge shotgun and actually hold zero? And will the scope break before Danny breaks? At the time we created this video, this is the cheapest rifle scope on Amazon, costing only $17.99. Now, by looking at the scope and looking through the scope, you'd probably never guess this was such an inexpensive rifle scope. Now, a camera looking down the scope isn't a good substitute for actually looking with your own eye, but we did find the image very clear and bright. Though the scope claims to have a 4-inch eye relief, we found that it's closer to 3 inches. Still, that's adequate to ensure that the scope does not end up in Danny's eye socket from the excessive recoil. And bear in mind, this was never intended to be put on a 12-gauge shotgun, so 3-inch of eye relief is more than adequate for any rifle. Since the scope comes with its own scope rings, we decided to go with those. Now, if we see any deviations, any abnormalities, we want to ensure it's actually from the scope failing and not from all the multiple contact points. So any point that could possibly move, slip, or come loose was given a generous dose of blue Loctite. I imagine I'll probably have to use a torch to get this scope back off this shotgun.
What do you have to say?
Well, right now this thing just got mounted, so it's not zeroed in on target, but we get it close, then we're going to go and see if it's consistent.
Okay.
But right now we're just trying to get it on paper.
Okay, we're at 25 yards, which is about a distance you want to sight in a shotgun at. That's every hunter that I know that hunts with shotguns, they'll sight it in at 25 yards and then go from there.
Same with the rifle.
Okay.
It used to be the military would say if you're on at 25, you're on at 100.
Okay.
But I think that was with the old 30.
Shotguns is kind of an exception because it's going to have a lot of drop.
No, that was with the old 30-06, I believe.
Okay. So what are we going to be shooting? We have a couple different, this is not sponsored by Federal or anything like that, but we are using True Ball. We found these to be very accurate.
Yeah, I like them.
They have a lot of variants of these things, so the boxes all look exactly the same. Federal, if you're going to have a different slug, make the box look different. You know, when you're looking at these things from 4 feet away at Walmart or through a glass window at Sportsman Warehouse or whatever, and you got old man eyes, well, help us out, you know, because they look exactly the same. We got 1350, we got some they're all 1 ounce, 1600, 1300.
Low recoil at 1300.
We got a 3-inch at 1700.
Yep.
So just help us out there, Federal.
Help us old guys.
Yeah. Make the box, you can identify them at a glance, you know. Color coding is your friend.
All right, we're going to start out with a low recoil just to see if we can get it on paper.
1,350 feet per second?
No, this was 1,300.
1,300, okay.
Low recoil.
Low recoil.
And if we get it on paper, we'll move up.
Yeah.
Using the Chronos high-speed camera, we can see how much abuse even a low recoil 12-gauge slug does to a scope. The scope is whipping around, snapped around, and it's bending in places you would never expect it to bend. Now we'll begin just sighting in the scope. This was done at 25 yards. One of the hard parts here was just trying to differentiate between where the slug was actually hitting and where the wadding was hitting. Often you get 2 holes per shot. So this involved taking one shot, walking down, seeing which hole was which, making an adjustment, take another shot, and so on. Every shot was just that much more abuse on the scope. Slowly Danny walked it in, and on the 7th shot, he finally hit the bullseye.
I like that. Bullseye.
And if you still don't believe that rifled slugs don't spin out of a smooth bore, well, there you go. Now that the scope is sighted in, we'll take 4 more shots, which will give us a 5-shot group.
That was our first one right there that you can see. That was when we decided to leave it alone on the adjustments. Second shot here. And
Third one was the right bottom one.
bottom right here.
And then the
Fourth
top right one.
one, fourth one here.
Yeah, yeah.
And number 5 here. So you're talking about 3 inches. That's more of a durability test of the scope
Right.
and consistency. So the smooth bore may be affecting the consistency a little bit, but
Yeah, because the ballistics of slugs is not like rifle accuracy. You got to remember that. Especially out of a smooth bore. I mean, you get a 2-inch group at 50 yards, you're doing really well, you know.
oh yeah.
So let's see, speaking of 50 yards, let's see if we can hit a jug, a water jug at 50 yards now. Now that we got it kind of sighted in.
We'll give it a shot.
Literally.
All right, now we're going to take a shot at 50 yards. And these are a 1,600 feet per second. Still a 1-ounce slug. A little bit faster. And these
Bit more
are
recoil on the optics and
a
everything.
little bit more recoil. And these are, well, for what it matters for this, but these are a hollow point where the others were a deep penetrator, kind of a semi-wad cutter.
Yeah.
Shouldn't make any difference. They're
Yeah,
both 1 ounce.
too many choices, you know. It's like Baskin and Robbins when you go to buy a true ball slug these days, you know. Okay.
1,600 feet per second. Let's see what we can do.
Oh, you got to adjust the front focus, the objective focus.
Yeah, I zoomed in a little bit.
Okay.
All right, I'm ready.
Okay, let's see what it does. I'm ready. Well, you hit it. I don't think it was a direct hit. Okay, another 50-yard shot. Whenever you're ready. There you go. Okay, what are your thoughts on this scope? It's an $18 scope.
Well, for an $18 scope, I'm very impressed.
Yeah.
It seems to be holding 0 once we finally got it on there. And, geez, I spent more than this for a little cheapy Tasco scope for a 22.
Yeah.
Spent more than that, and for 18 bucks.
I know that, I know a lot of hunters, and often the rule of thumb is the scope usually costs more than the rifle.
Exactly.
You want a good, that's like the hallmark of what a good scope is, but if you don't have a huge amount of money, this is an option, I hear you,
Yeah.
I mean, I appreciate this scope being only $18. It's not made out of plastic. It's got all kinds of fancy adjustments on it. And it was kind of frustrating at first to get it zeroed in. It usually is.
Yeah, anytime you do a first mounting, just to get it on papers can be kind of frustrating.
Yeah, yeah.
I know I went through quite a few on my 30-06 when I changed the scope up, and last bullet I had with me, I finally got it. Yeah, this is nice. The focus knob, I assume you would call it that.
I think it's the objective focus.
Objective focus, there we go. Goes from 15 to infinity.
Yards or meters, we don't know.
I don't know, but when I do the zoom, everything goes a little fuzzy. This brings it right back to sharp picture. Clarity is great. Can't complain on the clarity at all. Seems to be holding 0. It's a little far away from the eye on a shotgun. Mount this on a rifle, it'd probably be just about right.
What do you mean? A little close to the eye, you mean?
No, it needs to be closer to the eye.
Really?
Yeah, because normally the way I would hold this is about, I think it's about 4 inches. It's just where it wants to be. And I've got a small picture. Get, like, I call it tunnel vision. Bring your eye in closer about another inch and it goes out to a full picture.
Okay.
So it could stand to be moved back some.
Okay, okay.
Other than
We
that,
didn't have that option with that rail that I happen to have for that Mossberg. That's as far back as I really could get it. You know, maybe a quarter inch more.
You might get another quarter, 3/8 of an inch.
Yeah.
It needs a little bit more than that.
Yeah.
But you can get rails that have a extension to the
Okay.
reel. So you could move the scope back some with the right rail. Other than that, I've got no complaints.
Yeah, yeah. You know, it started looking kind of hinky at first. We were trying to get this thing sighted in. And it's like, oh man, that thing's all over the place, you know. But
It finally settled in.
yeah, we kept, you know, we did retorque the screws and everything. And just to make sure that we weren't getting any movement, you know, just the recoil will, you know, kind of settle in, or you know, kind of the parts will kind of mesh together.
First few shots, it's gonna settle itself in.
Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah. Then
you bedded this rail with Loctite.
yeah. I Loctite on the rings, and
so I'm sure the rail didn't move whatsoever.
Right. I wanted to really make sure that wasn't happening. I wanted to give a really fair test of this scope. But yeah, I mean, that's not even a hunting shotgun, you know. I mean, that's a Mossberg 590. You know, smooth bore,
and 50 yards.
That's not bad,
Two
you know.
jugs with 2 shots.
Yeah.
Can't complain.
Not bad. We didn't edit anything out or anything like that, you know. Got to be honest and objective here. But yeah, I mean, maybe I don't know, did we just get a really good scope and it didn't break, or, you know, that's that's always
there's always that.
The what ifs and what it coulda, shoulda is.
Greg went through 2 of the Bushnell red dots that were
right. We haven't really talked about that. I forgot what brand that you know.
It's a Bushnell 125. I forget what it is exactly, but that's close. But yeah, Greg went through 2 of those out of the box. One of them was all wonky. The lens was out of place, and they sent it back, got another one, and it didn't last but a few rounds, and it kind of fell apart. But he's got one on his shotgun, and I have one on mine, and I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
So you do get your lemon once in a while.
Right, even with the brand names, you know. Yeah. But you know, I'm you know, I'd feel bad destroying the scope now. You know, it's like, haha, let's shoot it or something. You know, it's like you know, I grew up kind of poor, you know, and I value things. I had to mow lawns and stuff to buy everything, you know. Yep. You know, worked hard for everything. So even I can appreciate an $18 scope. Let's take one more shot at 50 yards.
All right, let's do that.
Okay, we're going to close this video out with one more shot with a 1600 feet per second slug, Foster Federal True Ball. Let's see if we can do it 3rd time, which is always the charm. Go ahead. Right on the money. Right on the money.
As with any test of any scope, high end or low end, your results may vary. Now, if this scope is still in stock, you should be able to find it easily on Amazon. Just search rifle scope and then sort by price under $25, and you should have no problem finding it. Without any doubt, we'll get a lot of comments saying we should have mounted it on a spring-powered air rifle, because those are supposed to be very hard on optics. So let's pass the baton to your favorite air rifle channel and have them do the test. I'm sure they'd be happy to try it. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and were as surprised as we were that this thing even held together and didn't just break on the first shot. We always appreciate it when you take the time to rate the video, either good or bad, and if we did something wrong or did something questionable, please let us know and we'll try to answer it for you. We're one of the very few channels left on YouTube that actually reads every comment. Last but not least, we want to thank each and every one of our Patreon supporters who help keep this channel running. And if you don't want to support our channel, there's plenty of other channels out there that need your help. So if they're asking for help, they definitely need it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.